Cheryl, he did this publicly for a reason. He told police that he wanted to protest the poor treatment that he says he's received at the hands of the VA. He said he wanted to send a message with what he was doing, and it certainly did. So we wanted to take a deeper look at what's going on there. The VA just released a report on suicides from veterans, and the numbers are alarming. Almost 20 veterans a day are currently committing suicide, but of those 20, only 6 of them, on average, were able to get an appointment with the VA. That leaves 14 veterans who committed suicide without even being seen. We don't know the history of this man specifically. He told police he was an Air Force veteran, but we don't know his rank or where he served, only that he was very deeply troubled and wanted to send a message. Reporting live, Caitlin Ross, 11 Alive News.